Old ceremonies are over, and Primo, Jackson, and Conacher are skating out there, all ready to go for this historic event where the NHL is starting in Maple Leaf Gardens.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans of the United States and Newfoundland, and an extra big hello to Canadian servicemen overseas.
Conn Smythe once said, "The Maple Leaf to us was the badge of courage, the badge that meant home."
Maple Leafs are very happy to select Wendell Clark from Saskatoon.
It was a badge that meant more to us than any other badge that we could think of. So we chose it, hoping that the possession of this badge would mean something to the team that wore it.
Historic Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
And when they skated out on the ice with this badge on their chest, they would wear it with honor and pride and courage, the way it had been worn by the soldiers of the First Great War in the Canadian Army.
4, 5, 6.
Track is nailing McSorley. Look out. Burns is trying to get.
The first star, Johnny Bauer.
It's bigger than who you are. This community, which is so vibrant, is really the center of the hockey universe, and there's no fooling around about that. That's just a fact.
Dreams came true, and if I think, a lot of times when you dream long enough, they will come true.
I had a lot of respect for the Leaf logo, the Leaf tradition, and the organization, and I was proud to wear it. One of the proudest days of my career still today is the day they asked me to be Leaf captain in the 70s.
Leafs fans, they are passionate. They should be passionate. Dreams do come true. I had a chance for 6.5 years to play for the Maple Leafs. It's pretty cool.
Putting on the Maple Leaf jersey for me was the greatest moment in my hockey career, and it is a dream come true for any Canadian kid.
For me, being a player representing the Toronto Maple Leafs, who is the greatest hockey franchise in the world, clearly the best part of my career playing for the Maple Leafs.
For decades, banners have hung from the rafters of Maple Leaf Gardens and Air Canada Centre, honoring our franchise's greatest players. The 2 retired numbers and 16 honored numbers symbolize the achievements of the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise. As we enter our centennial season, we will be paying tribute to these great players by unveiling 18 new banners. The Toronto Maple Leafs have only retired numbers if a player has experienced a significant tragedy while a member of the team. In our club's 100-year history, only 2 players hold this distinction.
He was the league's top scorer in 1929 and became a Stanley Cup champion in 1932. And in 1934, he became the first pro athlete to have his number retired. Represented tonight by his grandson Rick, Number 6, Ace Bailey. In just 5 seasons in the NHL, he won 4 Stanley Cups. He's best remembered for scoring the Stanley Cup overtime winning goal in 1951 against the Canadiens. Represented tonight by his nephew Frank. Number 5, Bill Barilko.
In 1993, the Leafs began honoring the franchise's greatest players by hoisting their numbers to the rafters of Maple Leaf Gardens and later Air Canada Centre. 16 players have been so honored, but their numbers have remained in circulation so that other Maple Leafs could wear those numbers, worn by the legends that had come before them.
Tonight, our philosophy on retiring numbers changes. We are proud to announce that the numbers of those 16 honored players will now be retired, never to be worn again. He led the Leafs in points for 8 consecutive seasons during the 1970s and finished his career as the franchise leader in goals and points. He was the first Leaf to score 100 points in a season and the only player in NHL history to record 10 points in a single game. Number 27, Darryl Sittler. In 1942, he captained the Leafs to the greatest Stanley Cup comeback in NHL history. After serving in the Army during World War II, he would lead the Leafs to another cup in 1947. The next year, he would score a hat trick in his final regular season game and hoist the cup for a 3rd time. Represented tonight by his grandson, Sil Apps III. Number 10, Sil Apps. He played more seasons, more games, and captained the Leafs to more Stanley Cup victories than any other player in franchise history. Number 10, the Chief, George Armstrong. Despite missing 2 full seasons during the Second World War, he is the Leafs' all-time leader in games played, wins, and shutouts in both the regular season and in the playoffs. He is a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner and a 5-time Stanley Cup champion, represented tonight by his daughter Betty. Number 1, Turk Broda. He played 13 seasons for the Blue and White, 10 as team captain. He is the all-time franchise leader in points and goals. Represented tonight by teammate Tomas Kaberla. Number 13, Mats Sundin. Acquired by the Leafs using the winnings from a horse race, he immediately became the star of a Hall of Fame Leafs defense corps. In their first season at Maple Leaf Gardens, he helped lead the Leafs to a Stanley Cup victory. Represented tonight by his son Terry. Number 7, Francis King Clancy. He was the Leafs' first number 1 overall draft pick, scoring a team rookie record 34 goals. He captained the team to 2 straight conference finals in '93 and '94, becoming the all-time playoff goal-scoring leader. Number 17, Wendell Clark. If there had been the Art Ross Trophy and the Rocket Richard Trophy in the 30s, he would have been the recipient of these awards on 7 occasions. Part of the famous Kid line, he helped lead the Leafs to the Stanley Cup in 1932. Represented tonight by his son Pete. Number 9, Charlie Conacher. He captained the team for 10 seasons, and in 1932, he became the 3rd captain in franchise history to win the Stanley Cup. Represented tonight by his son Kerry. Number 4, Clarence Hap Day. He led the team in goals for 5 straight seasons in the early 60s and was the first player in franchise history to score 40 goals in a season. Calder Cup winner and 4-time Stanley Cup champion, number 27, the Big M, Frank Mahovlich. This Maple Leafs Iron Man played more games and more seasons than any other defenseman in Leafs history, including an incredible 486 consecutive games, still a franchise record. His captain George Armstrong said of him, "No finer person, teammate, or hockey player has ever lived." 4-time Stanley Cup champion, represented by his daughter Jerry, number 7, Tim Horton. A pioneer for European talent coming to the NHL, he joined the Leafs in 1973 and would go on to play 16 seasons with the Blue and White. He is the all-time franchise leader in assists and our club leader in points by a defenseman. Number 21, Borja Salming. He was a 4-time Cup-winning defenseman with the Red Wings. Upon arrival in Toronto, he would be converted to center, win 4 more Stanley Cups with the Leafs, leading them in playoff scoring in the 1960s, all while serving as a member of Parliament. Number 4, Red Kelly. Described by Conn Smythe as the greatest competitor in hockey and the quintessential Maple Leaf, he played his entire 14-year career with Toronto, winning 5 Stanley Cups, more than any other Leaf. In 1993, he was the first player selected to have his number honored by the team. Represented tonight by his son Mark. Number 9, Ted Teeter Kennedy. This gritty captain, known as Killer, set the single-season points record and won the Selke Trophy. He is the all-time franchise leader in playoff points. Number 93, Doug Gilmour. joined the club at the age of 33, and for every game of his 12 seasons with the Leafs, he was the oldest player on the ice. He ranked second amongst goalies in franchise games played and wins, a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner, and a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Number 1, Johnny Bauer. Leafs Nation, we have one more player to honor this evening.
Here's Keon, and Armstrong going in. Here's Keon right in. He scores! It's the Leafs carrying the play. There's Keon getting scored. A pass from Duff as he hops right in front of the goal. Keon! Dave Keon getting the rebound. And the little man from Miranda, number 14, made no mistake, and it was Keon.
Ladies and gentlemen, voted by his peers as the top Maple Leaf of all time. Now the 19th player in Maple Leaf history to have his number retired. Accompanied by his family, please welcome number 14, Dave Keon.